To see this video early, join me on Patreon. We now come to the last hurrah for the Stargate TV franchise, and it's a divisive one. Stargate Universe concerns the members of the Icarus Project, a project which would unlock the furthest flung Stargates in all the universe. But when an attack by the Lucian Alliance forces the team into the Stargate, they find themselves on an ancient ship millions of light years from home and no way back. The most striking thing about Stargate Universe is the huge status quo and stylistic shift when compared to previous installments in the franchise. SG-1 and Atlantis are overall pretty light-hearted sci-fi adventures, with quippy heroes battling evil foes. The shows were bright, warm-hearted, and fun to watch, so it's quite jarring when Universe takes a more gritty and downbeat approach. Rather than an epic struggle against bad guys, Universe hits us with bleak tales of survival and interpersonal drama. For much of the first season, plots simply involved the crew figuring out how to survive for the next few days. This is noticeably reflected in the production of the show as well. The visual effects of Stargate Universe are probably the strongest of all the shows in the franchise, and the ship design and interior sets look absolutely gorgeous, with some really beautiful lighting throughout. But what ruins the look of the show is sometimes the shoddy and inconsistent camera work. I'd say 80% of it looks great, but whenever two characters are talking to one another in shot reverse shot close-ups, the frame is unnecessarily shaky, often with blurry foreground objects, lens flares and Dutch angles, which becomes too much on a regular basis. Despite that, in general, this is a slick and stunning looking series. Our cast of characters are a mixed bag, but with some real gems here and there. Robert Carlyle as Dr. Rush is my personal favourite character. He's basically a combination of Gregory House and Gaius Baltar. Being so much smarter than the people around him, he's just too frustrated to be polite or nice, while also having a moral ambiguity which consistently makes other characters bounce off him in unique and surprising ways. And it goes without saying that Carlyle's performance is top notch. Colonel Young is a fine leader archetype, tough exterior but with real heart, and the weight of the mission and the lives of his crew bearing down on him often. His blunt, kinda knuckle-headed approach is what clashes best with Dr. Rush. Eli Wallace and Chloe Armstrong really embodied the heart of the show. Being the youngest and most optimistic of the characters, their personalities were most evocative of the wink and a smile style of previous Stargate shows. Most of the other cast seemed a bit perfunctory for the first season, especially the military characters, but by the time the second came around, they had some real dimension added to them. But it seemed a lot of the time that the most minor characters usually showed off more charisma than they did. For example, the scientist characters once again carry on the clever Atlantis method of writing exposition. Having the dialogue bounce between several characters makes the technobabble feel more like funny banter instead of a lecture. Because of the universe's slower pace and more restrained style, we had less plots involving space battles and gunfights, though there were a few of them here and there. Instead, Universe was more concerned with survival struggles and escalating tension, which paid off for the most part. Universe as a whole was much more serialized than other Stargate shows. There was no big villain to fight against, despite some making repeat appearances. For example, I'm so glad that we finally had honest-to-God aliens in a show like this, instead of regular people with rubber things stuck on their face. Voyager. Universe's 2 seasons contain sort of mini-arcs or a handful of episodes connected to the same story. The most compelling of season 1 being the contact with the strange aliens, eventually becoming known as the Nakai, as well as the Lucian Alliance's attempts to take over Destiny, resulting in essentially Die Hard on a spaceship. Season 2's mini-arcs stemming from the robotic drones in Twin Destinies were genuinely brilliant, the drone attacks being an exercise in escalating tension and characters fighting to overcome obstacles, essentially plots designed to push our cast into corners we have no idea how they'll get out of. Meanwhile, the Twin Destiny idea, leading on to encountering the time-displaced descendants of the crew, was a goldmine in character development, and is mainly what added those extra dimensions to weaker characters I mentioned earlier. Really great stuff. Standalone episodes tend to be a bit hit or miss and kinda repetitive. They seem to mostly be characters getting stuck somewhere or exploring a thing and then something bad happens. But every now and then a standalone episode can offer some truly intriguing concepts and ideas, namely the body-swapping communication stones. It's often difficult to discuss Universe as a whole, mainly because many long-running character arcs and potential story threads have been left unfinished due to the show's cancellation. But with the publication of the comic series Back to Destiny, I'll have to do some reading to see where these stories are taken. As the final series in the Stargate franchise, Universe is less of a last hurrah and more of a flash in the pan. As it stands, it's a bold show within the franchise filled with fascinating ideas and a few truly fantastic characters. Mostly enjoyable but standard fare in the standalone episodes, but mini arcs which soar to greatness when needed. As Dr. Rush said to Eli, Stargate Universe had so much potential. It's just a shame that it was never given the chance to fulfill it.